We're getting in reports now, and this is completely going by what reporters are saying on the ground. Reports suggesting that Amrullah Saleh's brother Rohullah Saleh may have been tortured and eliminated by the Taliban. These are reports coming in according to journalists on the ground, some of whom have tweeted, and there is no official confirmation from either the Northern Alliance or the Taliban. But reports several portals in Afghanistan have also broken the story of Amrullah Saleh, the caretaker president, the former vice president of Afghanistan, one of the tallest leaders in Afghanistan, who's been very vocal against the Taliban. His brother, according to reports, tried to leave Panjshir, was en route to Kabul. There is one picture, one still picture that was tweeted by journalists, and let's put that out. That's a picture that came in as per social media accounts, and that is the only picture available of him in public domain. And according to reports, that's the picture of Amrullah Saleh's brother, seen holding a gun, Rohullah Saleh. And we're getting in news now that Amrullah Saleh's brother may have been eliminated by the Taliban. Also, it's not the first time that Amrullah Saleh's brother family has been targeted. His sister was targeted, tortured by the Taliban many years ago when the Taliban was looking for Amrullah Saleh. This is breaking news now coming in, and we're getting you some reactions to it. Let's get some reactions because it's a very big update. Reporters, journalists, several portals are breaking the story of Rohullah Saleh, the elder brother of Amrullah Saleh, reportedly tortured to death by the Taliban. It was earlier reported, and according to journalists who are tweeting the news, saying that it was reported that he was traveling to Kabul from Panjshir, and he was identified by the Taliban and then shot dead. And several reporters on the ground citing sources saying that he was captured and then tortured by the Taliban. Colonel Rohit Dev is joining us on the phone line. Colonel Rohit Dev, you know, it's really sad, shocking. If reports are true, Rohullah Saleh, we are told, who is reportedly the brother of Amrullah Saleh, may have been captured, tortured, killed. Colonel Rohit Dev.
Hi, I just joined the broadcast, so I was told which one of the Salehs has been assassinated.
Sorry, Colonel Rohit Dev, I didn't hear you there. Your audio was faint. Sorry, can you say that again?
I just want to ask you that the coverage is covering whose assassination, please?
No, your audio is still not clear, Colonel Rohit Dev, but this is Niranjan here. I hope you can hear me. This is Niranjan here, and we're getting in breaking news now. Several portals, journalists in Afghanistan are reporting that Amrullah Saleh's brother, Rohullah Saleh, may have been captured by the Taliban as he was trying to leave Panjshir, and he may have been tortured and then shot dead. And several portals, several journalists are tweeting about it. So I wanted to get your response to it. If true, then it's something that you know, these global powers should be ashamed of. I mean, using the Northern Alliance when it was convenient to them and then leaving them to the wolves.
Right. So firstly, I will not be able to confirm that myself because today I've been away from interaction with the Afghanistan people there. But notwithstanding, if that is the knowledge we have today and that has actually happened on the ground, it can only be marked as a sincere sacrifice by a Afghani in serving his country. And they should take a lot of pride in that. And I'm quite sure if that is the case, then Amrullah Saleh's resolve will be much more, hard-lined, and so will be Mr. Masood's. And that is the way. You have to pay a price for your freedom, and somebody has to lead from the front. And this always happens to great leaders when they are leading, and especially when they are leading against terrorists, because terrorists have got no bigger aim than to kill people. And they will attain and be successful in these aims in the future as well. But I am very sure that this resistance movement is not giving up anytime soon. And even if his brother is slain and martyred, I'm quite sure Amrullah Saleh by this late evening would be in a position to take stock and organize more to give more teeth to the resistance and take it ahead. And I'm not too sure why his brother was trying to leave the Panjshir Valley. Maybe there was a plan to go around the Taliban in some pockets or something like that. Maybe that news is correct because you are saying it's coming from a lot of broadcasters globally. But I think this is the right time that the world takes notice, because you cannot have such a resistance which is internal to a country being stifled by a terrorist organization and a group of the network, including Haqqanis, Al-Qaeda, TTP, which is led and groomed and bred by a country like Pakistan. So what you're doing is you're giving too much of freedoms to an entire terror infrastructure and hotbed against humans who are trying to fight for their rights, fight against oppression. So I think that is something which the world must now notice, because the deaths like Mr. Saleh's brother, if that is true, are not vague deaths. They have a meaning behind it, and it's the leadership which is leading from the front. So obviously the resistance movement is taking a hit of violence from the terrorists. But the good part is that also, putting up a brave front. So I think if that's a sacrifice, it will not go down in vain. If that's a sacrifice, it will be remembered for a long time in history. If that is a sacrifice, it will inspire many more Afghan warriors, women and youth. And if that is certainly the sacrifice that has happened, it should be a wake-up call for the World Committee to understand now that if you are silent or supporting the Taliban, then you are on the wrong side of humanity. And you better pull up your socks and do something to ensure that humanity prevails in this Afghanistan as a country, and people get back their freedom and their prosperity. And they don't die in vain at the hands of merciless terrorist groups who are being bred and promoted by Pakistan. It's high time Pakistan is also called out in the same breath. And if that is the case, I can only say that God bless his soul, and may he continue to inspire many more generations of Afghans to fight for their freedom and make Pakistan a prosperous and a culturally liberal country as they were in 70s and earlier. And that is all I can say. God bless Afghanistan.
Yeah, Colonel Rohit, stay with me. I wanted to also ask you about what you feel when a country like America, when the Secretary of State is asked a straight question on whether they would support the Northern Alliance, and history has it, and that's the obvious reference I want to bring in. History has it that Amrullah Saleh has, of course, shared a close relationship with India at one point. He was also trained by Ahmad Shah Massoud, the father of Ahmad Shah Massoud. He was trained by him. He was mentored by him. He was also asked by him to negotiate with India or Indians to help decades ago in the armed battle. And when a country like America, that has also used the Northern Alliance, today says we have no sort of leaning or intention to help the Northern Alliance. Now, what goes on in your mind on what countries could have done, should have done, eventually didn't in this case?
So if you see the Americans, and the day the president said on global networks that they had made a deal with the Taliban, the story ends there actually. The story of a connect between them or the Northern Alliance ends there, because America, in the effort to have a domestic coin and currency rising for Biden, they have preempted this kind of a pullout, and they have done it very shabbily. So whatever they have done, they have to re-enter strategically and operationally and do something more in the future. I will not comment on that first. But let me say which are the countries in the play today. Apart from Pakistan and China, which is funder and economic grabber and slave maker worldwide, we today have a condition in which Petrushev came to our country on 7th and 8th. A very meaningful dialogue happened there on Afghanistan, and all the insightful talks which we had with them. I can partly say to say that it is aligned and oriented to make sure that any internal resistance group which is there in Afghanistan, which is by the people and for the people, will not be left in a lurch already yet by these countries at least. And I think what is the major point today when our Prime Minister goes to US in a few days ahead is just messaging what has happened between us and the Russians, and that is a part of the debate which involves the three countries. So this time around, instead of Bilkin traveling to Russia and India, it has been Petrushev coming to India first. And now the Prime Minister having interacted with him and getting a brief, I'm quite sure the inputs of Northern Alliance resistance, the stature of Kabul leaders, everything has been conveyed between the two of them, and the message will already be wired to US as well of what we want to talk about. And I think there will be some plain talk this time when the Prime Minister conveys a stand, especially on behalf of being a member of the squad to Joe Biden. Also the Russian perspective, because at times US is quite wary of the Russian perspective. And I think India has gained a lot of ground geopolitically with the 2+2 with both the countries last year. We have come onto a pedestal that we can actually derive geopolitical narratives on both sides of the NATO forces and the Russians, and both ways. We also tend to gain and isolate China on many fronts, not only economic and otherwise. So I think let's wait for these few days and what is conveyed between Prime Minister Modi and President Joe Biden of USA. And from there we can take it forward. But suffice to say, if Blinken has mentioned that they have got nothing to do with Northern Alliance, even that sentence is part of the deal. So even if they do a strategic re-entry through a third party or a group of nations, I'm quite sure America will not call out for the support directly in any which case. So those are subtle nuances of geopolitics. Even if they have to do something with Northern Alliance to give humanitarian access, give some wherewithal, even some weapons to a third country, it may happen in the future, but surely as per the deal, they will not be vocal, they will not be visible about it. So we will keep it at that for now, Niranjan, because we can't talk straight about geopolitical intent directly.
Yeah.
But let it be in the mind that these three countries are open, and so is France, and so are the British. The Canadians are also a little bit vocal. Scott Morrison is talking about it. And I'm quite sure we will have the right-minded people on our side as the Prime Minister goes to US with a lot of input from other countries as well. The Prime Minister has been speaking to many world leaders himself.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Colonel Rohit, for joining us on the phone line. That's the report coming in. That's reportedly Rohullah Saleh, who's the brother of Amrullah Saleh, who's been leading the resistance front along with Ahmad Massoud, fighting the Taliban. And he was in Panjshir. There was also a picture that was put out earlier of the Taliban reportedly at the same place in the library of Amrullah Saleh in Panjshir, where he addressed the media from a few days ago, seated in the same frame to make a point. And that's the breaking news update that's coming in on Republic as we get more and more reports of the brutality of the Taliban being unleashed. Massacre, beating up women. A pregnant woman was shot dead, mutilated, her body mutilated a few days ago, and horrific reports coming in. And we're hearing now that Amrullah Saleh, that was a video of him from Panjshir a few days ago. And on the right, reportedly his brother, according to journalists on the ground and some media houses in Afghanistan that are claiming that Rohullah Saleh, the brother of Amrullah Saleh, was reportedly killed by the Taliban, captured reportedly when he was moving from Panjshir to Kabul, identified and later shot dead, is what these reports are now claiming.